Everyone and their dog is talking about nervous system regulation right now. And the truth is, the nervous system is important, but being regulated all the time, that's not the goal. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through a couple truths about the nervous system that are important to understand because I believe we've kind of been fed this false narrative that we need to be regulated all the time in order to be healthy. Not true. What's important to understand is when we look at the nervous system, right? I'm going to use a couple big science words. The autonomic nervous system has two branches: sympathetic, parasympathetic. The parasympathetic, big sciencey word, simply means the state of rest, digest, connect. It's the relaxed, regulated state of the nervous system. On the far side of the spectrum, we've got the sympathetic. This is the activated, the energized, the fight, flight, freeze. You've probably heard some of these terms in the healing and trauma world, right? Now, what we've been led to kind of, at least when I stepped into this space, it sounded like in order to be healthy, I had to be regulated all the time. But that's still only utilizing one half of the nervous system's entire spectrum. And if you know anything about what I speak about, you'll know that I believe the body is so wise and intelligent. There is a natural intelligence that exists within our body that is far more magical, complex, and wise beyond any artificial intelligence we will ever be able to comprehend or create. With that said, we've got these two branches, both brilliant in and of themselves. Parasympathetic, sympathetic. But the goal isn't just to be living in one. When we say that we want to be regulated all the time, what people are actually meaning to say is that it's important for us to be able to create choice in our lives. We need to be able to have the range, the bandwidth, the capacity, and the tools, the skill set to be able to choose when we want to be activated and when we want to be regulated, when we want to be liberating energy and focused and zoned in, and when we want to be relaxed, digesting, connecting, slowing down. When we're stuck in one or stuck in the other, that's the term that we're using for dysregulated. Because you're unable to be able to shift gears. Entering into one or the other isn't the problem. It's when we're chronically overactivated. For example, you get into conflict with your partner or with your boss, and your nervous system gets activated. It spikes. You feel your palms start to sweat. You feel your heart rate start to increase, and this is important because perhaps there's a boundary that needs to be set, and it requires you to have energy to set that boundary. But if 3, 4, 5 hours later you're still in this chronically activated state, now you are dysregulated because you are unable to regulate your system. So the truth is, there's nothing wrong with being activated or being regulated. But the goal isn't to just be one all the time. The goal is to have the range, and it's to have the freedom of choice to be able to move along that scale as you please. So that's what we want to do with nervous system work. The other two things I will add here is sometimes it takes more than just one tool to be able to shift the state of your nervous system. Many of us think it can happen like this because everything is a quick fix in the world today. But that's not necessarily true. Sometimes regulating the nervous system takes a compounding effect of multiple different tools. A few of the ones that I believe in and that I think everyone should have access to, or at least know how to use, is moving their body. Get up, shake your body, stretch, move, get into your body and allow that energy to move out. Just standing up and shaking for 2 minutes does wonders for the nervous system. It's like a full rinse, a reset. We see animals do it all the time, right? Animal body. Let's use animal tools. The second one is nature. Get out into the trees. Feel the sunshine on your skin, the breeze, the fresh air in your lungs, the sound of the birds, the smells of the grass or the trees or the river, whatever it is. I believe that Mother Earth, nature, has its own nervous system, and it's always in this more calm, grounded state. And so when we can expose ourselves and create ourselves in proximity to this, immerse ourselves in her nervous system, we end up taking that on. We end up matching that frequency. The other one is sounding. Using your voice. Let out a sigh, a moan, a grunt, a scream. Sound moves energy in beautiful ways. And so if you've got this nervous energy pinging around, let it out. It's a great way to move that energy. Last thing I will say is the master switch. So the master switch for the nervous system is the breath. This goes counter to the last thing I just said, because I said oftentimes we need to use many tools to be able to shift our state. See, my shoulders even just dropped down there. I'm realizing this is getting me quite activated. Speaking on this, my heart rate is increasing, my breath rate, speaking rate. But if we just take a slow breath here, like inhale through the nose for 3, exhale out the mouth for 6. The breath is the master switch. Our body is always listening to our breathing, to our lungs. Quick science lesson, ready? So we've got this vagus nerve that runs from the base of our skull down into our body. This acts as like a highway or communication system. In short, it connects our gut to our lungs, to our heart, and to our brain. And they're all communicating. The vagus nerve is like this big group chat. And any one of these parts of us can send a message into the group chat, and all of the other ones respond, right? Like say you get a really sharp cramp because you ate something you're intolerant to. Your gut sends the signal like, hey guys, something's in here, and it's not good. And then the heart goes, okay, all right, are we going to be sick? It starts racing. The lungs begin to experience some anxiety, so they go, we're going to breathe a little faster. And the brain goes, oh my, it's happening, right? The brain freaks out. And all of a sudden, the whole group chat's popping off. Now, the thing is, we only have control over one of these members. That's not true. We can control the mind too. But for the sake of this conversation, what is controlled by the autonomic nervous system is our automatic bodily functions. Digestion, the heart beating, the lungs breathing. But what's interesting is that we also have conscious control over the breath. So we can choose right now if we want to speed up or slow down the breath rate. I'll make another video on this, but what's fascinating is that every single emotional state has a signature breath pattern that corresponds to it. Just as we have a fingerprint, so my pointer finger has this kind of fingerprint, the emotion of anxiety has an exact signature breath pattern that's associated. Every single one of you will be able to recognize when I'm anxious, I breathe what? Chest tightens, you breathe shallow, you breathe a little faster, and it's right up here in the chest. And maybe it's a little choppy even. We all have it. So what we can do is we can use the breath to induce or mimic a calm, relaxed state. The breath is the master switch. So what we do is we take hold of the lungs and we send a message to the group chat that says, with the pattern of our breathing, hey guys, it's all good. We got it under control. No need to sweat. We can relax now. And everyone goes, Oh, okay, cool. Like lung says it's cool. Lung says it's cool. Like we can chill now. That's what's happening when we lengthen the exhale. There are two main pathways for the breath. Of course, there are thousands of breath patterns, so many different combinations. For the sake of this, we're going to focus on the two. If you increase and emphasize and lengthen the inhale, you can see it's driving energy upwards. It's an activating breath pattern. On the flip side, if we exhale and emphasize and lengthen the exhale, it's going to slow everything down. That's what slides the dial towards parasympathetic, rest and digest, relax and connect. So if there's one thing you remember, it's simply when you're stuck in this activated state, and maybe you've been there for a while so you're feeling dysregulated, the breath is this master switch that we want to look to first. If I can slow and lengthen my exhale, I gain choice once again to consciously move that sliding scale within my nervous system. He said we want choice. The breath gives us choice. If you need to stack tools, get out in nature. Get your feet on the ground. Take a sip of water. Shake it out. And slow the exhale. See how that feels, right? This is a great combination. If you guys found value from this video, subscribe, like, follow along for more helpful tips to be able to master your inner world and get really good at life.